I'm with Al Korelin of the Korelin Economics Report. Al, thanks so much for being with me.
Danielle, it's a real pleasure.
I like being on the opposite side of the mic this time.
You guys are the giants of the industry, and I love being part of you.
Al, you're too kind.
No, too truthful.
So we're here at the Metals and Minerals Conference, Al, and I was telling you offline before that, I got a chance to speak with a lot of people here at the show. A lot of people hurting, a lot of people suffering, telling me, look, we just had the floor pulled out from under us.
Right.
How are you doing? How are you coping? And what are you telling people that you meet?
Well, purely and simply, I have always been, Danielle, a real believer in diversification. We have a lot of people on our website who disagree with me. They want to be 100% involved in precious metals, gold, silver, etc. I love gold and silver, but I love it for different reasons, and I really love financial security, which gold and silver obviously give you. But I think in terms of day-to-day investing, I think diversification is really, really important. Purely and simply what we do, Kathy and I, is we have our portfolio has always been broken down as follows. Number one, 25% real estate. Number two, 25% the conventional stock market, which is saving our bacon right now. And number three, 50% in hard assets. Of the 50% in hard assets, we are, I would say, probably 20%, 15 to 20% involved in the commodities themselves, which we take possession of usually, gold and silver, and then probably 30 to 40% in the resource sector vis-a-vis the shares of the publicly traded companies. Are we doing well in that segment right now? Absolutely not.
Right. Well,
absolutely not. But you know what? But I'm not tearing my hair out.
No? You think a turnaround's going to happen?
Very definitely, and I think you're going to see it sooner rather than later. I really do.
Based on?
Based on a number of things. I think right now people are frightened. I think right now people are confused. I think the fact that the U.S. seems to be tightening up a little bit economically, and we certainly saw that in the headlines just last week where they were talking about the infusion of capital that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are going to be giving back to the government. All of that is going to give people in the U.S., in the investment community, I think, warm and fuzzy feeling. They're going to become more optimistic. I think that optimism, as it has in the past, I think it's going to spread into, it's not, right now it's in the conventional stock markets. I'm firmly convinced that optimism is going to morph into the resource sector. Why do I say that? Real simple. It's a great place for speculators. There's no better place in the world.
Great place for speculators, and also we're running out of gold, apparently. That's
exactly. Well, I don't know about running out of gold, but I do know that the major companies their deposits are shrinking very definitely, and the junior companies are the logical place to go. Project generators, okay?
Right. So deposits are shrinking. Exactly.
In that sense, you're 100% right. Sure. Yeah.
So how about if we look at gold now? The pure metal, where do you see it moving? Obviously, we had a big correction in April.
Purely and simply, and I really believe this, with the help of our guests, I'm not the prettiest baby in the nursery, but our guests are, for lack of better terms. I learn a lot from them. We called a bottom on, I believe it was the 16th of April. Gold absolutely plummeted on the 13th, Friday the 13th. Right. 14th, 15th was a weekend. 16th came around. There was an intraday low, if I'm not mistaken, Danielle, of 1,321. We felt that was the bottom, and based on my fundamental feelings, based on fundamentals, based on the technical input that we get from some very, very good folks on our site, we felt that was the bottom. So far, we've been correct.
Al, finally, I know you had the honor of introducing Dr. Ron Paul, who was a keynote speaker, and we'll have that interview on Kitco News posted later. What was that like for you?
Oh, it's a real pleasure. I mean, I've known the congressman for probably 10 or 11 years. His chief of staff, Jeff Deist, is a co-host on our radio show now. He pretty much handles the second hour of the radio portion of our show, which airs on the weekends. Ron is, in my opinion, probably the greatest living American now retired politician. He is a very...
Well, you said he changed your life, Al.
Oh, 100%, yeah. My wife and I and our two of our daughters were in Washington, D.C. about 10 years ago. We were in the congressman's office chatting with him. He introduced us at the time to Judge Andrew Napolitano, who was giving a presentation to Ron's staff on a book that he had just published entitled Constitutional Crisis. Funny story, and I won't take all day, but we're listening to his presentation, and my wife, who was basically at the time dyed-in-the-wool liberal, started pointing at me, and she started, giving me the elbow, and she was looking at me, and then she was looking at the judge, and she was saying, "Is what he's saying accurate? Is that right? Is that right?" And I said, "Honey, it's 100% right." She's got a different view on politics right now, and she's a little more, I would have to say, open-minded. And when you listen to people like the judge and Ron Paul, you can't help but be open-minded because it's nothing but common sense.
Al, finally, final thoughts for investors watching.
Final thoughts for investors watching: stay diversified, number one. Number two, stay informed. Go to sites like the best in the West, which is the best in the world, which is Kitco. Get all the information you can. Make up your own minds. Don't let other people convince you.
Al, thanks so much for the plug and the compliment.
It's a pleasure. It's not a plug. It's the truth.
Thank you so much, Al.
Thank you, Daniel.
And thanks for watching our continuous coverage from the Metals and Minerals Conference here in New York. We'll have more for you. In the meantime, you can email me any comments or questions at newsfeedback@kitco.com, or you can follow this conversation on Twitter at my handle, at Daniela Cambone. Thanks for watching.